Trapmore gang. There's been some very dark things going on around this David trial, and there's been a lot of new information recently that has kind of added some very chilling and creepy context to things that we already knew. Two things that I want to talk about extensively in this video that might make you a little bit upset is the plot that allegedly, according to some people, was nearly put into place to actually get rid of or demolish or destroy, however you want to say it, the body of 14-year-old girl Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Now, rest in peace to her. We're hoping that there is going to be justice for her at some point in the near future. We need to know, and we need to get to the bottom of what actually happened in this situation. There's been a lot of talk and speculation as to potentially a foiled or failed or just abandoned plot to get rid of or destroy the body of this child that was ultimately found in David's Tesla. There's also been a lot of talk about David's friendship, or perhaps more than a friendship. In some people's opinion, perhaps there was something romantic going on between David and his close or best, or whatever you want to call it, friend Neo, or Neo the Asian, as he sometimes goes by online. Now, I've explored a few theories on this channel about potentially David and Neo being in some kind of relationship, or there's pictures of David and Neo, you know, gripping each other's butts. David's got his hand underneath Neo's waist. You know, there's a picture where they've got arms wrapped around each other, his butts being squeezed. It's super weird. But what I want to do in this video is break down a timeline of events that concern both of these individuals and explore some theories and opinions, okay? And again, what I'm going to say in this video is not verified facts, okay? A lot of this is a combination of opinions, theories, you know, speculations by people online. But what it does is paint a very dark and grim picture of perhaps what was and perhaps what nearly was when it comes to actually the plot to get rid of the body and who was involved. Now, I'm going to break it all down to you in this video, okay? And you might be surprised by some of what I share with you. So the first thing I want to bring your attention to is an interview with the private investigator, Steve Fisher, or SF Investigates. Now, he is somebody that's been very close to this case for quite some time. Not only that, but he has also kind of been, how can I put this? He's been integral to this case and this situation because he has apparently been retained by the owner of the property that David was living in at the time the body was found in the car that was towed from nearby the property. And he's found things inside the property. He's apparently seen pictures and surveillance footage and other things that basically indicates to him, if you listen carefully to what he's saying, he's talking about extensive planning that allegedly was going into a plot to get rid of Celeste's remains. But interestingly, he says very clearly and very specifically when he's talking about it, they. He doesn't say he doesn't say David, he doesn't say him, he says they. He uses language, and again, he's been very cagey about what language he can use, certain things he can't put out there publicly, but we can dig deeper and read between the lines of what he's saying and speculate on things that he probably isn't even allowed to say publicly. But if you listen very carefully, the way he talks about this, and he clearly knows more than the average person and the members of the public, he says they, he's saying multiple people, or he's inferring that multiple people were potentially involved in a plot to get rid of the body before it was discovered. So let's just listen to this snippet, and then we're going to go over just the whole timeline of what was potentially going on behind the scenes.
But I will say this, there are some things that, and I'm talking physical evidence that was at that house that is, there could have been greater plans as far as getting rid of her, and it's scary, sadistic stuff. And that's why we're trying to learn more about that. I wish I could say more, but for obvious reasons I can't. But it doesn't have to do with how she died, but maybe how they were planning on ultimately getting rid of her, and how maybe that Tesla was just a holding spot at the time, and things just, you know, their timing was just off as far as getting this done. But there's a few things that were just like, will blow your mind.
So, for whatever reason, he couldn't say it at the time. He said there were sadistic things left in the property that basically painted a picture of some kind of plan to get rid of the body. Now we know it was this burn cage that was found at David's house. And not only that, it was found in a pretty bad condition, if you ask me. I mean, the fact that the cops didn't take this and at least have a look inside the box, allegedly, is crazy, right? But this is a burn cage incinerator. Apparently, it can it can heat up to temperatures of 1600 Fahrenheit, which apparently is 200 degrees hotter than it takes to cremate a body. And SF would basically break all of this down in a long post on Twitter. Basically say human cremations are typically performed at 1400 degrees. This burn cage incinerator could heat up to 1600 degrees. He said his words had been misquoted, and he's basically referring to that original interview. He said that, you know, items you would expect to find on a farm rather than a home in the Hollywood Hills, something that could be used to get rid of the body. And basically he's saying that, yeah, this is the incinerator. This is what was going on, and they were potentially going to use it to get rid of the body. Now, here's where things get a little bit more spicy, okay? That original interview was in October. It was on the 18th of October, 2025. Now, cut forward just under 2 months to about 3 days ago from where I'm recording this video, on December the 15th, 2025. This is when the TMZ were actually reporting that the district attorney actually believes that up to 2 people might have had knowledge of Celeste's murder. And you could potentially infer from that maybe there was some kind of conspiracy with multiple people involved in the murder and perhaps involved in a plot that didn't go to plan of getting rid of the body.
Beth thinks happened, and clearly she thinks David did this. Whatever she thinks happened, there were more than 1 or more than 2 people who had some knowledge of it, because everything I'm hearing, you know, based on a reporter there and other information, is that her net is wider than 2 people. So I think she thinks, and again, I'm connecting dots, and I'm not going to say I know something when I don't, but I'm connecting dots. That I think Beth believes that a circle around David knew various things. Does that make sense to you?
That's exactly what I think is happening. I think not only 2 or 3, I think there are as many as 8 different people who were in the orbit who had heard or had witnessed what had happened. And they are basically casting that net, trying to get closer to the center of that circle.
So the joke is that a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich. If the LAPD
except if it's Tish James, but other than that.
So, all right, jokes aside, yeah. This is basically, they're talking about the fact that there could be a whole bunch of people that knew what was going on, or at least knew something wasn't right. And it could be multiple people that were potentially involved in the murder. It could be multiple people that maybe the murder happened. Maybe one person wilded out and took the life of this young girl, and then other people got involved to try and clean it up. Maybe they needed to protect the golden goose. Who knows? In my opinion, that could be possible. Now, one person that's come under a whole lot of scrutiny, and I think it's important for me to share this, all right, is this guy Neo. And I feel like some people are acting like, Ross, you making it up that they was in a relationship. There's been talk, this is 3 months ago, just after the body was found, September the 18th, 2025. You can't see that, but I'm highlighting the date, and it's telling me the exact, it's telling me to the second when this was posted, September the 18th, 2025, at 9:23 p.m. and 32 seconds. Can we talk about his possible boyfriend on IG that he's seen with before and after this poor girl's death? This was before the main r/David subreddit became defunct, when David stepped away and made it so you couldn't post in there anymore. People saying, I'm getting bad vibes off this man. Maybe I'm reaching, I don't know, but this could be a suspect. He's got all of his comments off. This picture, people saying, bro, David's got the Sounds Gay I'm In shirt on, and Neo is laying across him. David's got his hand tucked in underneath his backside. All right. Something is not right about these two. What the hell is this? They doing up Titanic together, okay? And unfortunately, they both might be going down with the ship, okay? There's people saying, I think he's in his friend group. He's still following David. People are saying in one of his highlights, he calls him daddy. I don't know, but thanks for clarifying he's just a friend. I'm not sure. To be fair, men are just like that. My partner acts so gay with his friends, that doesn't mean they're dating. However, that man is probably complicit with David crimes. They were saying this 3 months ago. This is not new, okay? This is not new. So David knew he was caught once he limited all of his comment sections. And I also joke with close friends romantically, so I get that part. Sometimes it's harmless, but I'm not sure in my opinion. It says, dude was definitely a PDF orbiter who was complicit in his activities. Everyone around him knew what was going on and kept quiet about it. They should all be held accountable. Wait, I've seen this pattern somewhere. No, okay, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. I'm not trying to have no problems with the authorities. Okay, it says, I thought I was the only one getting bad vibes from him. I saw photos online of him at David's house, and it seems he's been living there. He also had access to the Tesla. Something is definitely fishy with both him and David. Why is his hand underneath him? I wonder myself. Okay, I wonder myself. Now, Neo the Asian, okay, he has been under... That Titanic picture is crazy. Here, far, wherever you are. Where are you guys, man? Wherever you are, where are you guys? Anyway, okay, he's been under scrutiny, all right? And there might be more and more evidence mounting up, or at least speculations mounting up, that Neo was close to this situation. Maybe, in some people's opinion, he might have covered up evidence or helped cover up for David, getting himself involved and helping out with the situation, okay? But to really understand what's going on with Neo, okay, we've got to go all the way back to the start. So this is an image that's been going around the Reddits, all right? And it's been backed up, it's been deleted, it's been posted, all sorts of stuff. But basically, okay, it's actually been suspected that it's highly possible. We don't know exactly when Neo and David met, but what we do know is it's possible, according to some people's timelines, that like David might have actually met Celeste before he met Neo. So this is a comment of someone basically talking about, and this is unverified, we can't know for sure if this is true, but this is somebody basically explaining that David basically met Celeste on Fortnite as early as 2021, which would have meant she would be at around 10 or 11 years old, just online playing Fortnite, meeting this dude, not realizing what hell she is unfortunately getting herself into. So this person commented, yo, I'm watching the live right now, but I just want to say this because me and my friend are trying to recall everything. We were all in a Fortnite team called Chronic, which is where we met him. He met her in like 2021 through Fortnite, I'm pretty sure. And then he made her get Discord and everyone in the team knew about her and he would joke about it and brush it off every time it got mentioned. That's all I personally knew, but my friend Pistol knows more because they talked way more. She would literally say he grape her, but then follow it up with a joke, so I don't know if she was being for real or not. He was also just a weirdo, to be honest. He used to send gore pics in group chat, but I'm not surprised considering ... Now, if you go and trace things back on David's old YouTube channel, okay, he actually uploaded a tour of his little Fortnite setup, and basically, at the time, he was going by the name Chronic Ant. The Fortnite group that they were part of, the Fortnite team, was called Chronic, so he was the Ant in the Chronic.
Yeah, welcome to the Chronic Ant setup tour. I sit at this dining table, bro. This is where we eat. This is where we sleep. This is where we play games. I got the basic keyboard. I got this for $15 on Amazon. $60 60 hertz monitor, and then a 200 and something 240 hertz. I think, I don't know what this is. I play on a regular PS4 controller, you know what I mean? Just regular. I got these, yeah. And I don't know what PC specs I got. I think it's like a 1060, 16 gig or something. It's a toaster though. I can't even play pubs. That's why I don't even post pubs like that. But yeah, y'all see it. This is a setup tour, yeah. Yeah.
So that was his tour, all right? That was his setup tour. That was Chronic Ant setup, all right? People are saying this was all the way back in April 2024, okay? I would be very surprised if any of these Instagram pages are still going. Are they still going? Stop. No.
I'm going to the top. I'm not even going to level up. I'm just going straight to the top next time I'm here.
All right. I don't even want to see this, okay? But look, if you're looking for David, he got all of his official links on there. But this was him back in 2021. People saying this dude sounds high as hell. This is 200 or something. I don't know, 240 hertz. People are saying his next setup is going to be in a prison cell. All right. They're saying, bro, that chair looks like it went through a tornado. We ain't trying to see we were trying to see the old comments and the new comments. And bro's so addicted to posting shorts, his setup tour was a short. People saying, so who's here in 2025? Just got to make the best of what you have, blah, 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 blah. All right. This man definitely made this in the middle of a weed sesh, LMAO, this 200 or something, I don't know, 240 hertz. People were liking his raw, unfiltered, like him just being himself, okay? And I do get it. I get why people like thought a lot of him. But anywho, all right. A little bit of time would pass, and I haven't got the original of this, but I'm just going to show you this in my document. Okay, a little bit of time would pass, and we would eventually start seeing Neo and David together. Now, it's been hard to try and work out exactly when these two met, but one of the earliest images of them together apparently was in October of 2023. And again, This would have been, was this October? Yeah, October the 21st, 2023. So my last two brain cells at 3 a.m. I'm clinically bipolar. And it's him and Neo kind of in a semi-embrace. All right. All the way back then. And yep, the blindfolded, covered in blood Hello Kitty display picture is pretty spooky. I ain't gonna lie to you, but that is what it is. Okay, so they were apparently locked in from October 2023 at the not the earliest, but they could have been locked in before then. But at least by October 2023, they are to the point where they are kind of snuggling up to each other and taking pictures and posting it on TikTok. Now, leaked screenshots would basically confirm that Neo the Asian had actually been activated in David's Discord from 2023 as well. Okay, and apparently people on Reddit would find an alternative account named Asian that held moderator and supervisor roles on both David's Discord and Twitch, but it's not been proven that these two accounts are connected, but some people do think that it's possible. Okay, this Neo, aka Neo the Asian, active in David's Discord server as early as 2023, and he might have been a mod by another name. And look at this weird stuff that he's doing. People saying, oh, there's no way they're in a romantic relationship. He can't be his boyfriend. He on there talking about David's 6 foot. David is 6'0". I love Peen. I love C. What? He'd been a member of Discord since April 2016, so he could have been there from the start. It said David's Asian is at Asian. Neo saying, I love, So maybe there was another Asian. Maybe there was, another member. Now, this person was apparently a member since May 2022, or a member of Discord since May 2022, a member of the David subreddit since November 2022, which would predate that image that we saw. But we can't be for sure that Asian is Neo the Asian. It could be another account, could be another person completely. We don't know. It says, at Neo, start digging in your butt, twin. At Neo, don't be like Asian. Maybe that's a joke. This Sophia girl, maybe they're cracking a joke because it's the same person, or maybe not. All right. We don't know. So let me read you this. It says there are only 4 posts by Neo, aka Neo the Asian, in David's Discord server, David's Closet, and they are from 2023. However, Neo was still active in the server through July 2025. Perhaps other Neo posts have been deleted. Maybe others have been posted elsewhere, Neo posts that were captured before deletion. Regardless, Neo's existing posts are in the slideshow. I'm tired today, man. As is a 2023 exchange between David Discord server mods and Neo, while David is in the chat too. There's also a July 23rd, 2025 exchange suggesting that Neo is present. The exchanges suggest the possibility that Neo might be user Asian, or username Random Valorant, who's one of the server's mods as well. Maybe others have already confirmed or disconfirmed this possibility elsewhere, but interestingly, Random Valorant is most commonly referred to in reference to the Valorant in-game weapon skin randomizer, an external random agent picker tool. Huh? People saying that's the one. He and David hung out as early as 2023. That's October. And there's other photos of them hanging out way back. All right. People saying, thanks for sharing your photo. That takes them back to April 2023. Is that the case? Let's have a look. Hang on a minute. Damn, Reddit cooking tonight, man. Reddit cooking tonight. So they're saying that this is an art exhibition at the LA County Museum of Art. And apparently, okay, this shows Neo, Celeste Herrera, the decoy Celeste, and an unknown person who appears to be David. Apparently it was posted by Asia, who we've spoken about before, and Herrera and Neo were tagged. And this was an installation, and the photograph must have been taken at the time of this exhibition, which could have been any time from April 2023 to September 2024. So that... they're saying that it has to be April of 2023. Oh, to the 24th of September 2023. So this could predate it. It was an exhibition, I believe, in 2023. Let me see this. I ain't gonna lie, I love Reddit. I actually love Reddit. I love being a little Reddit historian myself, a little Reddit sleuth. All right, so the exhibition is confirmed to have ended September 24th, 2023. So we can confirm that Neo was locked in, all right? He was locked in at any time from April 23 to September 23. And I believe that there is a typo. Oh, no, because that's not referring to the year. So that is 2023. You can't actually see that. But behind this, it says September/24. But they're referring to 2023. So, all right, we're cooking. We're cooking this fool, all right? We're finding out exactly what's going on. I ain't gonna lie. This fool looks a lot like me. This is crazy. Now, okay, look. So just like David, all right, Neo the Asian was active in the gaming and streaming scene, but he was primarily playing a different game, Valorant, okay? And if you want to know a bit background about the game,
Neo.
this is the Valorant tier list, all right? And I can't lie, this guy looks a bit like me. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. Neo the Asian, he was prominent enough of a Valorant gamer and streamer to be getting referenced as a Valorant creator on this tier list by Vin. All right. And this is back in April 2023, not too far off the time that he was allegedly hanging around with David and visiting exhibitions at the LA County Art Exhibitions. Okay. So this is Neo being referred to as a streamer back then.
The biggest op crutch in this list. I don't think Atlin's ever used a different gun, but somehow Neo's still a bigger op crutch. He always tries to no scope, even if it means throwing the round. And I've never met anybody as down bad as this guy. F tier.
Facts. F tier. I'll put that fool in F tier too. I'm not going to lie to you. But basically, on his Twitch account, okay, Neo the Asian, that's what his Twitch account was called. It was the Instagram as well as the Twitch, okay. He basically was getting busy on Valorant, okay. So this is some of his stats on Twitch. This is the Twitch tracker. It talks about how much, he's streamed for over 2,000 hours in his Twitch streaming career on his Neo the Asian page. Streamed 27 different games. He only racked up about 4,000 followers, but that's actually quite difficult on Twitch. Like, Twitch is a whole different ballgame. It ain't Instagram. But he was mainly playing Valorant, played a bit of Fortnite, did a bit of just chatting, and he was getting active over there. I'm not going to lie, he was getting active over there. He was picking up, some big followers. He was having a moment. But I ain't going to lie, don't you feel like it's interesting? He ain't really on shit. He ain't really on nothing until he meets David at April 2023, between April and September 23, some point in that time, and all the clout. He just got all the clout he needed, all right? So he was rolling in the right circles. He managed to clout suck off David a nice amount, and that's when the followers started going up. He had a little come up, right? Now, his last stream was 5 months ago. He ain't had the gall, he ain't had the balls to touch the Twitch, to touch OBS since the body of Celeste Rivas Fernandez was found in the trunk of David's car, which I do think is quite interesting, okay? I do think it's interesting. He's got a Twitter. Posts are protected now, all right? Only approved followers can see them. I don't think he's going to be giving me any access anytime soon. But according to his Twitter, he talks a lot, all right? He talks a lot. So what is interesting is that in one of his actual streams that took place on May the 11th, 2020, the title of the stream was Solo Queue Ranked Grind Gold 2 Team Throws. Thank you for 500 followers. Drops, get your drops here. 0 viewer gang. All right? He wasn't getting no viewers. He wasn't getting no love back then. But what's interesting, all right? Playing the same game and apparently the same rank as was visible in the bio of the moderator account on that Discord with the title Asian. All right? Gold 2 Valorant player. Is it a coincidence? Could be a coincidence. Could just be a coincidence that another guy who goes by the nickname Asian, who plays Valorant, who's also a Gold 2. I don't really know about Valorant, all right? But we see Gold 2 here, all right, in his flare on his Discord. And last time he's talking about Gold 2 team throws. So look, is that enough to say that this is the same guy? Random Valorant? It would be difficult for that to be random, but okay, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. So jump all the way forward, all right? September 2025, after the body of 14-year-old girl Celeste Rivas Hernandez was discovered in a Tesla owned by David, towed from a street close to David's home that he was allegedly living in and renting during the time, okay, there would be some screenshots that circulated, all right? The same Neo-linked moderator account had allegedly been the very person to purge David's entire Discord server, all right? Now, this is interesting. This is in the original David subreddit that got shut down. Asian. Group command. Purge. Deletes the specified amount of messages from the current channel. Aliases. Prune. C. Member search. Purge. Help. Purge. Deleting everything, allegedly. Right? Allegedly delete everything. Yeah, he said delete everything. Basically trying to shut this stuff down. They're saying they can delete everything all they want, but a Discord has a backup. All the cops have to do is subpoena. All right? What's the date on this? September the 22nd? It says, LMAO, they must be as dumb as David. We already have enough screenshots to know that his entire server is filled with PDFs. On top of that, the police can literally get those messages back in minutes if they want to, and they do realize this just makes them look even more guilty. What the F are they hiding? It's not a one-man job, that's for sure. Deleting messages is even more suspicious. If they weren't already being questioned, they almost definitely will be now. As far as I know, deleting evidence is illegal. Uh-oh. All right. Uh-oh. Asian. Could that be the same Gold 2 ranked Valorant veteran? Perhaps. All right. Perhaps. Now, interestingly, around this same time, maybe a little bit earlier, Neo would also get to wiping down his own social media accounts. Right? His YouTube channel, Neo the Asian, purged. No content. No content. All right. Interesting. Interesting, okay? Now, his Twitch, no posts, no streams. He hasn't gone live in 5 months. The Twitch is quiet. It's quiet over there on Twitch, right? Ain't nothing going on. His X, I already showed you, but I'm going to show you again just for reference, all right? His X account shut down. That's not me and it's shut down. That is you and it's shut down, okay? You are shut down, covering everything up. And I'm not going to lie. Really? That's your banner pick? This your banner pick? For real? For real? That's what you went for the banner pick? You might want to purge that one, Neo. You might want to purge this one, because this is a bad look. I ain't going to lie. This is a bad look. 2 characters holding devices of death. Anyway, okay. What's really interesting, all right, there's some archived snapshots that basically show that Neo's YouTube channel had previously been the host of multiple videos, and the wiping was indeed, it wasn't, this isn't me going, oh, he's wiped his YouTube, meanwhile he'd never posted anything. No, apparently, according to these backups, he had posted on these channels in the past. So this is a backup of Neo's YouTube account that was taken on September the 10th, 2024. Didn't think we was going to get this, did you? Huh. All right. He had a bunch of videos. All right. My day in the life living in LA. Sup. Hardest part about vlogging. Backstage at Flognor. When Twitch streamers go outside. Scissor vlog. Friends. Lifestyle. Slice of life. I don't rave. Okay. He was getting active on YouTube. Why would you delete all these? Why would you delete all these videos? You got nothing to hide, right? You got nothing to hide, right? Like, why would you delete all these vids? Now, look, I tried to go through everything on that internet archive of his YouTube channel, but none of the videos are backed up, unfortunately, okay? And there's not really too much to go on there. But we do have his Instagram account, okay? And for somebody that's so closely involved in a very twisted thing, all right, he kind of doesn't really have a whole lot of clout. But a review of his Instagram account shows a noticeable gap with very few posts around the time that Celeste was last seen alive, okay? His Instagram would basically show a big gap in posts between November the 10th, 2024 and May the 10th, 2025. And this is allegedly, potentially, the period of time when the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez may well have occurred. So the last post that he's got up publicly is on July the 6th, all right? She egg on my nog till I'm hard-boiled. Like, he thinking he funny. He think he real funny. He a funny dude. He a funny, playful, fun dude on LA timing, all right? That's what he's on, right? We switched genres so quick, I ain't know what happened, right? But there was a big gap. So let me just show you where there's the big gap, all right? And we'll get to that. All right, we'll get to that. Can you still comment on these? Comments have been limited. You can't comment. Can't tap in and comment. Can't give your opinion on what's going on with him. All the comments have been disabled. All right. All the comments have been disabled. But it would be this big giant gap here that had people wondering. This is on May the 4th, 2025. What was you up to? Like between November the 9th, 2024 and like, that's a big gap. Like, what was going on? You said the night was a blur. What was going on? What was you up to? Like, I'm just curious. Like, what was you up to in that time? Like, what was going down? You getting money, huh? You getting money, huh? You on the drink? You on the Casamigo phone? Oh my God, so edgy. All right. That's creepy as hell. That's creepy. I ain't gonna lie. This creepy as hell. So I'm just wondering what this fool was on. Okay. And he's limited all the comments. All right. Now, what is also interesting, okay, in his Instagram story highlights, there's also another noticeable gap. Now, this time, the date of the gap is a little bit suspicious, okay? It's a little bit suspicious. The date of the gap, this time it's a little bit tighter. There's a gap in his story posting or his story highlights between December the 24th, so Christmas Eve 2024, and February the 14th, 2025, Valentine's Day. And bear in mind, they're saying Celeste Rivas Hernandez went missing on Valentine's Day 2024. So if this was clearly a sore point, this was clearly a date that was, you know, there was always some weird shit going on with Celeste around Valentine's Day. And we saw that video of David with all of the gifts and stuff. So let me show you this. All right, check this out. Do we want to let him know I'm onto him, gang? Do we want to let him know? I'm gonna let him know I'm onto him, gang. He's gonna know. He already knows it. All right. So basically, between 50 weeks ago, come on, bro. The Hello Kitty for real. We're really doing that. So he's always feeling himself. What's really interesting is like this guy's feeling himself all the time. Okay, he's feeling himself. But here's where this gap pops off, right? There's just a big gap between this post and this post, all right? Of like 8 weeks. What was going down? What was going down between that time? Okay. Well, what's interesting, okay, and I'll tell you some theories on what could have been going down, okay? Tell you some theories, all right? He still keeps posting, he's still having a good time, he's doing his thing for sure. But it's this gap, all right, and you can't see it, but I'm just telling you what it is. It's a post. This is December the 23rd, 2024. And then this one is on February the 13th, 2025. Okay. So basically the day before Valentine's Day. And then it's February the 19th, 2025. So he's feeling himself. All right. Here's why this is weird. Because it would basically be around this time or like a week after that last post before the gap starts. December the 30th, 2024. Okay. This would be basically the night that this and some other pictures were allegedly taken, okay? Apparently, through the night of December the 30th, 2024, into the early hours of the morning of December the 31st, 2024, Christmas Eve, or sorry, New Year's, which would have been the eve of New Year's Eve, all right? The eve of New Year's Eve on 2024. Private investigator, SF investigator Steve Fisher, said that he confirmed from pictures that he found that David and Celeste were together in downtown Los Angeles out having fun partying. Okay, this is one of the pictures that was taken, that was recovered of David holding a knife. Right, weird. And then there was another photo that was taken on that camera. Okay, and people were basically saying this is a picture of Celeste that was taken on that camera in December 2024. And it's just a little bit suspicious that like in the week leading up to this, you see Neo post, then he stops posting. Right? And then also, you don't post again till the day before Valentine's Day. Now, what's really interesting, okay, is after New Year's, everyone has a great time for New Year's, probably hungover, do their thing. Who knows what went down? But on January the 2nd, 2025, that's when David and Celeste were allegedly at Millard Canyon Falls, all right? Angeles National Forest, not Santa Barbara County. But basically, it's alleged that this is the last day that there's any photo evidence of Celeste being alive. And basically, you know, a lot of these photos were allegedly taken by them themselves on a digital camera. And let me show you these images and then tell you about some of these posts. This is David's second Instagram account, January the 2nd, 2025. That's on his David, Extra David, all right? David's gallery. And I've shown you that in a previous video with talking about self-snitching. This is the Millard Canyon Falls, January the 2nd, 2025. All right? Millard Canyon Falls. This is where they allegedly were. He said, my site is beautiful, right? And he got the Hello Kitty with a camera as his display pic. It's creepy. Okay. People saying that's high, but upside down, it's Celeste's age, 14. Creepy. All right. High/14 rock is there. That's where they're saying it is. There's a little arrow there pointing to it. Right? They're saying this is David and Celeste's Instagram posts from this beach, allegedly, right? That's Zoom Beach in Malibu. That's what people are saying. This is the David You Left Me First official lyric video on April the 25th, 2025. They're saying that's Santa Barbara County, perhaps, all right? They're saying that David's Instagram, maybe it's similar. I'm not seeing the resemblance myself here personally, but people are saying that maybe this was the inspiration for the There Goes My Baby official lyric video. All right. David Afterlife official lyric video in April the 25th, 2025. So there's just a bunch of creepy stuff. People are saying, does this track their roots? All right. People are thinking that this might be the same place, Route 134 Ventura Freeway at Santa Barbara. But basically, okay, people are saying that that's when they were together. Now, let me read you the post. I'm going to read you the post and I'm going to read you these comments, okay? And I know this is long. It says, this date and time frame are very significant. David created a second account on January the 2nd, 2025. He started posting pictures there. The account was named David's Gallery or Extra David and featured a Hello Kitty holding a digital camera. According to Steve Fisher, he shared what he said is the last known picture of Celeste during this period, which sparked a lot of conversations and discussions. People began questioning whether David took a trip to Santa Barbara and whether he and Celeste might have traveled there during those days, leading some to wonder what might have happened during that time. The LAPD confirmed that the Santa Barbara trip took place in the spring, which raised more questions about whether something could have occurred earlier in the year. After searching for a few weeks, I finally found the location. It's Millard Canyon Falls in Angeles National Forest, not Santa Barbara. Looking at the pictures David posted, each one's tagged with a song and a caption written in Japanese. The first song he used was Yumi Utusutu, Between Dream and Reality by Lamp. The song is about a heartfelt goodbye after a deep love connection, a reflection on how beautiful yet temporary relationships can be. The ending lyrics say, the end of the days I spent with you. Interestingly, there was a deleted photo of David showing him standing in a landscape while someone was taking pictures behind him. This is the first indication that it may have been Celeste with him. Another post he showed shares a rocky stream surrounded by forest and big rock. The detail that caught my attention was the big rock with black writing on it. The song tagged was Next Time by May Ayara. The song is about two people sharing a deep connection that eventually fades, a bittersweet goodbye after something meaningful. The lyrics repeat the words hello and goodbye at the end. At first glance, you might think the rock says the word hi, but when you look closer, it looks something more to it. The left part of the H has a small gap, which could mean it's meant to mean something else. When viewing the writing from the other side, rotating the picture, it looks like the number 14, which would have been her age. To add to that, the caption on this post is written in Japanese and translates to my site is beautiful, followed by an inverted Spanish punctuation mark. An inverted exclamation mark. Is this a coincidence or not? To include Celeste's age and a caption with a Spanish symbol, I'm leaning towards him putting her age there. Another picture David posted was taken at a beach. This might not be very accurate because LA beaches are huge, but he's guessing that it's the Zuma beach at the Point Doom area, and it's the one that he used on the promotional cover for the Withered Deluxe album. The last post on Extra David was in January 28th, 2025, followed by a long gap until May, and again we were seeing long gaps in Neo's page too. When he uploaded a photo with his main group, a caption on a picture read, I've been abhorrently sad as of late, which is why I haven't been inspired to post here in a while. But I went to the beach with my friend this morning and it made me feel better. Now, it's interesting to consider whether something happened to Celeste earlier in the year. Looking at the timeline, it heavily suggests something happened between January and April 25. Now, the question is, and this is my speculation and theory, when and where was David when he took that Santa Barbara trip? There are a lot of comments saying that for him to go to this area alone is very hard. He would need to know somebody, which is very logical. And we don't know any details of this trip, but my speculation is based on his music videos he posted during his Withered album release. Looking at his lyric video for You Left Me First, it shows a remote area with mountains and what looks like watching the night sky and stargazing. We know from the news reports he took a trip late during the night, stayed for several hours, then came back to LA. In the video, we also hear Celeste's voice at the end, kind of specific to include that, and the video shows him in a remote place. Just in case, David is very focused on symbolism and him filming the starry sky. Celeste's name is also very symbolic. It means heavenly stars, celestial. I didn't even realize that. Could imply he was in Santa Barbara during this time, but we don't know exactly when. You also see a similar mountain in his music video for There Goes My Baby, similar to where he's looking at the sun in the horizon picture he posted on January the 2nd. The next video he posted was Invisible String Theory interlude, which David referenced a lot. We hear a full conversation of Celeste's voice, this time with him, and it's not just a sample. During the interview with the Zach Sang show, he says he doesn't have a girlfriend anymore and heavily talked about the red string connection. In this interlude, he's shown driving on a road that looks very familiar. It could be Route 134 in Ventura Freeway in LA. If you need to travel to Santa Barbara County, you go past the Ventura Freeway to get to Santa Barbara. So is it a coincidence that he also filmed himself being in the car, which has a Christmas tree freshener hanging from the mirror, like David's Tesla had? The car in this video is not David's Tesla, but I think it holds clues and is symbolic. I do think something happened. I'll read you these two comments, we're going to move on. It said, did he take the trip with her on the 2nd or post photos on the 2nd? Reason being, the investigator said the last known photo of her dates back to early January, which does not necessarily mean it was taken then, but may have been posted on that date. During the early weeks of the investigation, it was noted David stopped posting photos or referencing a girlfriend in December of 24. And that was just after the new year. He scrubbed his account of any photos of her and changed his profile photo back to a black circle, reflecting an apparent breakup. He started posting pics with another girl in February 2025, saying he was finally happy again. Those photos have since been scrubbed as well. While January might have been the time frame she was last alive, it seems as though something went awry in December 2024. It says Steve Fisher confirmed that Celeste's last known picture was from the Angeles National Forest. Okay. Now, this is basically connected to an alleged music video that was filmed just a few days after that burner Instagram account started being used. And basically, people are saying this is like a new Celeste sighting. This was David when he was filming, when he was out filming a music video, and it was in the same kind of batch of images. That's a picture of the shed, and these are dated. This is December 30th. That's a picture of Celeste, right? January the 11th. That's a picture of the creepy barn. January the 8th. This is him in a forest. Looks like he's filming a music video. They got all equipment around and stuff like that. December 31st, just after midnight. Picture with the knife. Okay, a little bit creepy, right? And people are saying, when was she last seen? Is this the last image of her? But I've not seen the picture of her supposedly on January the 2nd, but maybe she was there in the forest with him. Now, what's interesting, this is where this theory is going to start getting crazy, okay? I don't know if you're ready for this. Around January the 7th, 2025, when all this is going on and he's out there filming, popping out in the forest and all this kind of thing, and I remember because I was there, this is when wildfires broke out in Los Angeles, okay? And a witness account from somebody coincidentally also named David would describe the crazy conditions that were going on in California and Los Angeles at the time. Check this out.
Now broke out.
At 10:58 a.m., resident David Hansen received a video from his mother showing thick orange smoke billowing outside her house on Piedra Morada Drive. The fire size was upgraded from 10 to 200 acres, while containment remained at 0%.
We're in the Palisades Highlands and the fire road is literally on fire.
David Hansen drove to reach his mother and recorded the Palisades fire as it burned an entire hillside beside the road. From his mother's backyard, David filmed helicopters dropping water onto the nearby fires. He tells ABC News he saw them hovering over the edge of Santa Ynez Reservoir and were using a hose to draw up water. The fire spread rapidly, and flames encroached on David's mother's yard. Neighbors rallied together, using water from swimming pools to fight the advancing fire. With 2 more zones ordered to evacuate and 3 new evacuation warnings issued, David decided to drive out. But with high volumes of vehicles trying to evacuate, and with 3 road closures on the Pacific Coast Highway, escaping the flames proved to be difficult for residents. As David drives...
So this is all going on, right? And then we're finding out they've got some kind of burn cage in the property. Now, the whole Angeles Forest, including Millard Canyon, where Celeste was allegedly last pictured, or where we were seeing pictures of David, popping out in the forest, this area was closed the same day, right? And this was within a week of David being there. And the fire would slowly start opening up over the next... the forest was slowly being opened up over the days that went by. Okay, the Angeles National Forest would partially reopen on January the 30th. So essentially, right, David's popping up at this area. I'm not saying it's connected, right, but then there's a fire going on. We don't know when this burn cage was delivered to the property, but there's been a lot of people speculating that perhaps what was going on was that maybe they were thinking, well, since there's wildfires in LA, maybe since I can't use this burn cage in city limits, but because there's a fire going on, it might skate, it might slide, maybe no one will notice, but maybe they were too scared to do that, all right? Because if there's wildfires going on and they catch you using a burn cage in your yard in city limits and it's illegal, you might be in trouble. They might check what was in that burn cage, okay? But once again, as I'd said before, during this time, all right, Neo the Asian goes dark on social media, right? But interestingly, on January the 15th, 2025, while David was still seemingly out of town, all right, Neo hosted out of nowhere, a 1-hour Twitch stream. And the title of the stream might give a little bit of backstory about what was going on. I said the flames of disaster burning in LA. Keck W. Right? Interesting. Interesting. So they you know what I'm saying? The fire was going on. They were thinking, what's going on with the fire? He's doing a stream for the fire. The fire's going on, and they're buying a burn cage, right? This is all a little bit crazy, right? Allegedly, there's a burn cage at the property. Now, what's interesting here, okay, if we take you back, again, everyone's going quiet in December 2024 and, you know, not popping out until February or later 2025. If I take you back to December the 19th, 2024. Let me just not get in trouble with the music, okay? But David had a song called Where'd It Go Wrong, all right? And in this, we see a character played by David being killed in a secluded location. Kind of creepy, right? But in this case, it's killed by a woman. Now, we know Celeste was still alive when this, this music video was released and this song was being promoted. But again, we're seeing these death, murder, fantasies playing out. Now suddenly they're in the woods. And this is before Celeste allegedly would have lost her life. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this wasn't something that was in his head. We've heard, all these throwback references from music videos and things like that. This is your special, David. It's so creepy. All right. So I basically want to shout out a viewer who noticed something in a previous video. So there was a viewer called Ashley on one of my previous videos who actually pointed out the one dude, right, is apparently Neo in the blindfold, okay? Apparently, I'm just going to show you this, all right? But basically, it looks like he got not only, the Celeste lookalikes, but it looks like he got the Neo lookalikes on deck too, right? So people are saying that this might actually be a Neo lookalike. Look at this. They're saying that might be a Neo lookalike. They're saying that this guy kind of be looking like Neo. He got the Neo build, all right? So David's dragging himself, killing himself, but it's like he got the Celeste and Neo lookalikes in the video, all right? I didn't even notice this at the time. Forget the fact that you got Body in the Trunk, all right? February the 6th, 2025, you releasing songs about bodies being dragged out and put into the trunk. That's insane. But then you got the Neo lookalike. Like, we ain't noticed that. So shout out to Ashley for noticing that, okay? And by the end of the video, all right, the body is being shown to be buried. And again, it's like, okay, so if you teasing me with these details telling me that the bodies get put in trunks around here, okay, it just makes me think, okay, this is a confession. What else are you confessing to? And by the end of the video, all right, this is when again, this ain't the Neo lookalike. I don't think it is. Is this like an Easter egg or something? Like, that ain't the same person. This person got hair. Now we're coming back to later in the video, we're looking at the dude. This is a different dude with no hair. So you just slipped in a little Neo lookalike for the little trunk scene. Like, what are we doing here? So by the end of the video, okay, and I'm gonna hit you with a detail that's gonna blow your mind, all right? The body is shown being buried, and a very unusual object is thrown into the grave beside the body. What is it? Ready for this? They're burying, they're digging the grave, and again, this is a different dude. That's not the Neo lookalike now. All right, David's the one being buried in the grave, ironically. All right, they're burying and they're throwing dirt on him. He's saying, give me one more dance. All right, they're looking at each other in love. Now it's not a Neo lookalike, but look what they throw in the grave. Camera. They're throwing a camera in the grave. They're throwing, what is that, evidence? Like, they throw in the camera in the grave. All right? What the hell is going on? What kind of a reference is that? They throw in a camera in the grave. I don't know. The camera in the grave is insanity, all right? So basically, I believe that all right, I'm going to say some people believe, all right, I just want to be careful how I say this. Like, it's a feasible theory that basically they were go into the forest and scoping out a place where they could bury the body just like they did in the video where they reenact what was going to happen. That situation was screwed up because that forest that they'd scoped out at the start of January was closed due to the wildfires, and it wasn't open again until the end of January. Well, what do you do when you can't go and bury the body in the place that you thought you could bury it? Maybe you put it in the car, maybe you put it in the freezer, I don't know, all right? I've never been in this horrible situation. And the fires, it caused a whole lot of problems. It meant that a lot of roads were closed, a lot of freeways, a lot of routes and plans. If you were planning to bury a body in a spot that you'd scoped out right at the start of January, that might not work out, Okay, the freeways might have been closed, all right? And the fires would also just destroy some forest areas for months. It would shut down others, and that included Millard Canyon and Angeles National Forest, all right? Look at this. So there's forests where you might have wanted to go and bury a body that you ain't getting into no forest no more. You might have scoped out the perfect spot to bury a body, and that Brad ain't running no more. And you thinking, damn, if I'd have put that body there a few weeks before, I'd have been golden. I'd have been good. All right. How crazy is that? This is just a theory. Okay. This is just a theory, but like, it's a pretty crazy theory. Like, imagine you actually went and scoped out where you were going to post the body, and you posted it on your Finstagram account, like a classic self-snitching rapper. And then before you know it, this is on the map, and you can't even take PCH up to the way you was going to bury the body. How crazy is that? Okay, but it's just a theory. But obviously this leads us neatly back to the mysterious 1.5 hour drive that David allegedly took from Los Angeles to Santa Barbara County, where initial reports were suggesting that Celeste was dismembered. Okay, you remember those reports where people saying that Celeste was chopped up? Well, when they followed up and they said, okay, David drove up to Santa Barbara County for this weird trip where he was basically up there for several hours and came back, some people were speculating that perhaps what had gone on is that they had gone to dispose of the body and then bottled it and you know, got cold feet and came back.
That the LAPD has some tracking information where they claim that David took this mysterious trip to a very remote area of Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night in the spring of 2025. Now, that is months before the body was discovered in Los Angeles in a trunk. I don't think it's hard to connect the dots. And he stayed there, by the way, for several hours. So I don't think it's hard to connect the dots that one of the things they seem to be looking at is whether Celeste was killed then and he buried the body there or left the body there in some way.
So it could have been the case that that's what is happened, what Harvey just described, or it could have been the case that he went to go and find another spot to bury a body where he'd already found some original spots that he couldn't go to because of the wildfires. And then suddenly he's trying to find another spot, he getting cold feet, he bringing it back. Now, there's still a whole bunch of conflicting information about the decapitation and the freezer story, okay? Basically, it's been saying, look, the body wasn't frozen or decapitated, according to the police. But they did confirm that David traveled to Santa Barbara months before the body was discovered. But then other people have come out to suggest, oh, well, the body, TMZ kind of said, oh, they still stuck by some of their sources that maybe the body was partially frozen or it had been frozen at some point, that a freezer was at his property. Some people believe that that was actually to muddy the waters and that's really not what was going on. But basically, I say all of that to say, okay, this is all just a theory. I'm not confirming anything as being confirmed true, absolutely true facts. All I'm trying to say is that every single day we're getting new pieces of information and things just start slotting into place. You start thinking, hang on a minute, why was you posting these pictures on this Finstagram all the way up in some random forest? And then come to find out you're talking about wildfires. And there's a burn cage that doesn't get used. And then we finding out the forest fires was going on and you wouldn't have been able to go to that forest that you were scoping out right in the number 14 on a rock. Like, this shit is crazy. Okay, so look, this is the best I can do, all right? I'm still digging into this case every single day, going as hard as I possibly can to try and find new information and new angles on this story, okay? All we want to do is see justice for Celeste Rivas-Hernandez, okay? We want to see justice. We want to get to the bottom of this case. We want the LAPD to give us an update as soon as they can. Once we actually do have that update, I will be sure to give you guys just everything I possibly know about it, okay? But for now, look, this basically was just a deep dive. There was a new timeline. There were new things that I hadn't seen before, and I wanted to do this big deep dive. I've been putting this off for a few days, or to keep putting things into this document, but this is just a little brain dump for you guys. So tell me what you guys think. Do you think this is a super far-fetched theory? Is this a load of nonsense? Or do you feel like this kind of holds water? Does this add up? Do you feel like it's actually believable that maybe, you know, the wildfires actually prevented him from disposing of the body in a way that he would have liked? Is this a whole bunch of cap? Did somebody else do this? Am I just barking up the wrong tree? Was he framed? Come on, man. But I do feel like this is interesting. When you start adding up the pieces and it's like, so he went to the forest and posted pics, and then that forest was closed within a week because of the wildfires. Now he found it a new spot. is super interesting. So let me know what you guys think down below, man. I will keep digging into the story as the days go by. For now, this is just a whole bunch of opinions and analysis and speculation. I cannot confirm anything to be true. I am not the LAPD. I'm not even Steve Fisher Investigates. I'm just a guy on Reddit. You all love to come at me and say, oh, you just read comments and look at things on Reddit. I'd like to think that this video was a little bit deeper than just reading comments on Reddit, but I know you like a good healthy dose of Reddit comments too. So it is what it is, man. I'm just giving you guys what you want to see. And I hope this fidget toy has just been a beast today. I'm not going to lie. I've been loving this one today. So, yeah. this is very satisfying for my brain. I don't know why. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, let me know what you thought, man. We'll keep digging into the theories. Let me know what theories you guys want me to explore going forward. I will keep an eye out for any new news. There's been a bit of a news drought over the last couple of days, so there hasn't been any super new updates. I do actually have one more David update that I do want to get into, but I probably will do it tomorrow because I had the dentist today and my mouth really hurts, and that was quite a difficult recording session to get through. But anyway, appreciate you guys. Catch you guys in the next video. I'm out here, gang. Peace.